Welcome back to another episode of Jason's Bricks in 5, where I discuss LEGO content in videos of around 5 minutes. Well, it's time for another weekly set review, and we are going to review something different for sure today. It's set 40516, Everyone is Awesome. Now this is a set, to be honest, I never really expected to get, but I saw it on sale. I figured, you know what, let's take a look. We'll review this set. Now, I am aware that there are some undertones to this set that it could make it polarizing for some people on either side of, various social or political issues. But we're going to review this set strictly on the build and the set itself, and taking out any of those other undertones. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we think. So as always, the first category we'll discuss is the build experience. The build was simple and straightforward with its techniques. It only took about a half an hour or so to complete. However, much of that time was sorting through the parts. While the steps are simple, it is rather repetitive, which I found somewhat boring, and mostly because of that repetition, I would have to say that I found the build to be lower than the enjoyment of other LEGO sets I've built in the past. The second category we'll discuss are the details or Easter eggs. Honestly, there is not much detail in there beyond the various hair molds of each color. The rest of the set is basically just bricks, tiles, and a few curved pieces. Compared to most LEGO sets, I find it to be below my expectations of the detail I normally would expect in a set. Next, we'll talk about the displayability or playability of the set. There is no playability with this set. It is 100% for display. I would have to say that the bright colors on the set certainly do make it stand out in a crowd at first glance. Unfortunately, the lack of any real details beyond the bright colors in the set are what keep me from giving it anything beyond meeting expectations. Now we'll talk about the all-important minifigure category. The monochromatic minifigures are certainly different. However, for most people who find mannequins unsettling, this set may not be for you. Also, while the number of figs is outstanding for the price, the bright colors for so many figures really limits your options with those figs or for the parts should you want to use them for something else. For all of those factors, I would have to say that I find the minifigure category below my expectations. Now, as far as the uniqueness of the set, it's hard to rate this because the set does seem unique overall in concept for a set. However, as you start to look closely, the lack of detail does take away from the uniqueness for me. And of course, next, we're going to talk about the value of this set. This set retails for $35 US. However, I have consistently seen it on sale for $28 or 20% off at my local LEGO store, which is what I paid. I feel that that is an indication that the retail price is generally perceived as higher than the value of the set by the public. If you're someone who likes to do things with the monochromatic figures, the set may have more value to you. However, for a city builder or someone who is into more of different IPs such as Star Wars, I think you are more likely to find less value from the set, as the 11 different colored figures is a large number, but they would be hard to use in mocks or other builds. Alright, so that brings us to my final overall thoughts on the set. Now, I did build it the way that the instructions have it and, looked at it that way. And to be honest, I'm sure you've picked this up through my review, I found it to be kind of boring and lackluster, both in the techniques and just kind of the overall look was just kind of meh. So the one thing that I think is really cool about this set is I've seen many people make mocks out of it. And the first one I saw was where they used different spacemen of colors to place on here, which I think was interesting because it provides a little more detail and a little more interesting look for me. Since then, I've seen other things where people have done frogs and cars and all kinds of various things. So I went ahead and decided to make this my own. I took Oswald, and so for those of you that saw my haul review where I got the 11 Oswald heads, that's what I've used them for. I did build it with the monochromatic figures, just with the Oswald heads, but it still looked just kind of boring. So my wife and I talked about it, and I said, what if I changed the torsos to something with some detail, but the same color? And so that's what I've come up with here. And I think it looks a lot more interesting. I've added the Oswald tiles, but let me know what you think. I think it does allow for some creativity. So if you're someone that would be looking to display, I don't know, clone figures or something that you like, I think this does provide an interesting way to display them that way. But if you're going to build it and keep it the regular way, I would probably have a harder time recommending it for most people. I think they're probably not going to find it a very interesting build or display. And if it is something you're thinking about picking up, I would tell you to make sure you try to get it on sale. So that's my overall thoughts on Everyone is Awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Jason's Bricks in 5. Happy building!